Let's be honest, OnePlus has been trying to find ways to hike the price of their flagships. 54K for the OnePlus 7T Pro is kind of ridiculous pricing, right? And on the other hand, Samsung has been trying to bring the price down while still offering a reasonably good flagship experience, the S10e for example. And naturally, at one point, they have to collide with each other. And that moment is already here. Just 40,000 rupees for the S10 Lite with the flagship Snapdragon 855 chip. Unbelievably good pricing. But still, in terms of value for money, to compete with a value flagship like the OnePlus 7T is no small thing to do. But there is always a way to find out which one suits you better. So let's go ahead and do that. As you probably already know, being a technology jock style full comparison, this video will only cover the things that are different on both phones. For example, we are definitely going to talk about camera performance, display, battery life and so on, because they are like very different on both phones. But things like reception, phone calls, GPS performance, and even Wi-Fi, nothing is really better or worse on one of the phones. So I'll skip talking about them. They won't affect your buying decision anyway. Even the performance is something I'd like to skip. Snapdragon 855 on both phones handles just about anything with ease. I'm so glad Samsung went with Qualcomm instead of their own Exynos chip. Both phones offer super smooth gameplay even at HDR plus extreme settings on PUBG. And of course, other less graphically intensive games run perfectly fine too. But I felt that the gaming experience itself was better on the OnePlus 7T. And reason for that is the stereo speaker setup and the new haptic feedback performance. OnePlus has upgraded the haptic motor from the 7 and with the haptic feedback enhancement feature in game space, the gameplay feels amazing. Like for every gunshot, the phone vibrates a bit. Now the haptic feedback enhancement feature doesn't work in every game. For example, it supports PUBG but not Call of Duty. Even without earphones, you can figure out the gunshot sounds quite easily. They were very distinct, unlike on the S10 Lite. Not just while gaming, even while watching TV shows and listening to music, I felt the 70s speakers were much better, both in terms of loudness and quality. The audio was more crisp and clear and deep. The dialogues were more pronounced, the bass was slightly better. Of course, we all know Samsung had to cut a lot of corners to bring the price down to 40,000, so this is one of them. Also, do note that supported games can run at 90 FPS on the OnePlus 7T because it has a smooth 90Hz display. Is 90Hz a must-have feature? Well, watch this video. I've explained all the myths, the hype, the truth about high refresh rate displays. Basically, 120Hz is very noticeable. 90Hz isn't that big of a difference to an untrained eye. You may not even appreciate it all that much, but if you go back to 60 from 90, you will definitely notice it. But again, you get used to it quickly. It's not been a big deal to me. Like I was using the OnePlus 7T a few months back, and then off late I've been testing a lot of phones, the Redmi Note 8, Note 8 Pro, Realme X2 and so on. I am fine. I don't really miss it as much as I thought I would. But 120Hz is like definitely noticeable. I loved using it on the ROG phone too. Now, the display quality itself is slightly better on the S10 Lite. The 70s display seems to be more color accurate, that's there, but the S10 Lite's display is slightly brighter and has more vibrant and punchy colors. I watched an entire episode of Our Planet on Netflix like this. It's in HDR and you can probably notice some of the things I said. And of course, in real life, you'll notice everything quite easily. But when it comes to the build, Samsung has once again cut corners. Plastic back, plastic frame, and no Gorilla Glass 5 or 6. It also doesn't look that premium. The 70 on the other hand has killer looks. It's actually glass, but it gives off a metallic sort of look. It's unique and cool. And yeah, it has Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back. Anyway, these days looks don't really seem to matter a lot because you'll probably use a case on top. If you ask me, I would say go for a skin from our sponsor Kids India. They're super cool, yet very affordable when compared to certain foreign brands. They're available in a variety of colors and textures, so there is something for everyone. The quality is top notch, installation is easy. They also have zero thickness virtually, so you can even use a transparent case on top of it if you want. Of course, cape skins are available for a lot of other phones as well, like the Redmi Note 8 Pro, OnePlus 7T Pro, etc. So do check out Capes India, link in the description. Use the promo code TJOC to get 10% discount. Now, of course, we just spoke about the back panel. When you look at the front, the S10 Lite suddenly feels more premium. There is a tiny cutout for the selfie camera, commonly called as the punch hole camera. It's slightly less intrusive than the dewdrop notch on the 7T. And both the forehead and the chin are noticeably smaller on the S10 Lite. Forehead size is fine because the 7T has a speaker up top, the S10 Lite doesn't. But yeah, the S10 Lite does have thinner bezels overall, if that's something you value a lot. And to protect those screens, both phones come with a case in the box. And once again, I find the 7T's case to be better. You can see the corners of the case bulging out. They protect the display in case of a major fall. They won't let the display touch the ground. Speaking of major fall, the OnePlus 7T goes through a major fall in this comparison in the battery department. 3800 mAh is just not enough, especially because it has a 90Hz display now. I spoke about this in detail in my full review. For light usage, it's fine. Getting through one full day is possible, even at 90Hz sometimes. But if you use it the way a flagship phone is meant to be used, by which I mean if you use the cameras frequently, stream videos, play PUBG for some time, for that kind of usage, even at 60Hz, getting through one full day becomes difficult at times on the OnePlus 7T. At 90Hz, it's virtually impossible. The S10 Lite, on the other hand, has a 4500 mAh battery and it lasts much longer on a single charge. Even on heavy usage, at the end of the day, there was about 25 to 30% charge left and it lasted till the next noon. So 1.5 days is gettable. And Samsung also has an excellent battery saving mode. In case of emergencies, it's really handy. It strips the UI of all the features and even with just 10% charge, you can get through a few hours and that's amazing. And when it comes to charging, the S10 Lite charges as fast as the OnePlus 7T, even though it only has a 25 watts charger compared to the 30 watts warp charger of the 7T. The first 50 to 60% the 7T is faster, but after that the S10 Lite catches up. Another major difference between these phones would be the camera performance. Both phones have a 48 megapixel camera and an ultra wide angle camera, but the third camera on the OnePlus 7T is a telephoto camera for 2x optical zoom, while the S10 Lite uses a less impressive 5 megapixel macro camera. But remember, the 7T can also click macro shots using the ultra wide angle camera, and the quality is also better since the 16 megapixel ultra wide camera is easily better than the 5 megapixel macro camera. It can also get closer to the subject than the S10 Lite can. Now, when it comes to the main camera, both phones are really capable. Note that I said capable because in real life, the results you get might suggest that the 7T's camera performance is inferior. The reason is the difference in the software processing. I spoke about this in detail in another video. The 7T has a few image processing issues. The HDR processing is very inconsistent. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just inconsistent, meaning sometimes it's great, sometimes it's terrible. What happens is when you just point and shoot, the shadows, as in the darker regions of the image, do not have enough details. They are too dark. HDR is supposed to brighten them a bit. You need to use the EV slider, increase the exposure manually, and then click. In that case, the quality becomes much better. Look at this comparison. Both were shot with HDR on, but the left-hand side image was just point and shoot, and for the right-hand side image, I used the EV slider. So the shadow details being crushed, being too dark is one major issue that OnePlus needs to fix. Now on the S10 Lite, you literally need to just point and shoot, and you get much better results. Even if you adjust those things on the 7T, it is still not as good as the S10 Lite. The images shot on the S10 Lite have slightly better colors and much better dynamic range. Look at the sun, the trees, and even the sky near the horizon. Everything looks a lot better on the S10 Lite's image. Here's a comparison between ultra-wide images. This is a no-brainer. The S10 Lite is far better here. Look at those trees, the car. The dynamic range is again better on the S10 Lite's images. Another important thing to note here is The S10 Lite captures a much wider scene. It crams in a lot more of the scene in the image. Basically, Samsung has used a much wider lens here. Under low light, both phones perform almost equally well. But when you shoot pictures using the night mode, the S10 Lite will get you better results. It is simply a lot brighter and has less noise. And one more issue on the OnePlus 7T, it struggles to focus on the subject when the lighting is bad. It happens rarely, but when it happens, it's annoying. Now, of course, the S10 Lite is not flawless. Sometimes in night mode images, I noticed a huge difference in the amount of details captured. The S10 Lite tends to smudge up the details. The 7T also did it once, here. Also notice the green tint. Both phones capture really good selfies. There are just some minor differences in colors and exposure, nothing worth mentioning. Same goes to the 4K video quality. Almost equally good. The 7T crops more for stabilization. The S10 Lite does it with a wider field of view, and that's good. Also on the S10 Lite, you can switch between the main camera and the ultra-wide angle camera during recording. On the 7T, you need to choose the camera before recording. While recording, you cannot switch between the cameras. By the way, there is a super steady mode on both phones, but the supported resolution is only 1080p. I'm literally running here, and I think the S10 Lite's stabilization is slightly better. Not a big difference, to be frank, both should be good enough in any given situation. Both the 7T and the S10 Lite run on Android 10. But yeah, there are a lot of differences between the user interfaces. The 7T's Oxygen OS is close to stock, and One UI is quite far away from stock. Now, usually in any comparison involving a OnePlus phone, I would just blindly say Oxygen OS is better, period. But here, Samsung has brought some really good changes, improvements to One UI 2.0. But Oxygen OS, on the other hand, has always been fantastic. Some unique features of the S10 Lite include Samsung Pay. You can just tap the phone on the card machine to make payments. You don't need to have credit or debit cards with you physically. And then there is a single search bar for the entire system. It can even find things inside third-party apps. You can literally search for butter chicken masala here. And then there is this smart crop feature. Once you take a screenshot, you can tap this and it automatically crops out the main part of the screenshot. It's quite useful in our meme culture, right? And here's another thing I noticed. App opening times are quite similar. Both are almost equally fast, but I found the S10 Lite to be slightly more responsive. Now, fast and responsive are two different things. No matter what you do, it responds to your actions a little quicker. Not a big deal though, I'm just trying to emphasize the fact that One UI 2.0 is also pretty good. So it just boils down to your personal preference, whether you're currently a Samsung user or a OnePlus user, whether you like more customization, more features, or you like a simple interface. Now the comparison is still not over. There are some miscellaneous stuff I want to talk about, some little things that might impact your buying decision. The 7T supports aptX HD audio, so expect slightly better audio from your Bluetooth earphones that support aptX HD. The 7T also has UFS 3.0 storage compared to UFS 2.1 on the S10 Lite. But anyway, like I said, practically the S10 Lite is really fast and responsive, and app opening times are also quite similar. You've got Samsung DeX support on the S10 Lite, which means you can literally turn it to a desktop computer, sort of. And those who want high storage, you can still buy the S10 Lite's base variant and insert a micro SD card to expand the storage. Yes, it's got a hybrid SIM slot, that's what I'm trying to say. But the 7T doesn't. Now, the 7T can unlock faster using either fingerprint or face unlock. Either way, it's much faster than the S10 Lite. And it's got the amazing alert slider. That's one of the top 3 features that I really miss while testing other phones. It's that useful for someone who switches between silent and ring modes very frequently. So, this is what the whole comparison looks like in a single page. If you're looking for a truly premium looking smartphone with a smooth 90Hz panel, close to stock Android experience, amazing media and gaming experience thanks to the stereo speaker setup, faster unlocking, a more versatile camera setup, but if you're okay with the not so great battery life, you should get the OnePlus 7T. But if you want more reliable cameras with better results overall, great video capabilities, a slightly more vibrant display, much better battery life, the convenience of Samsung Pay, then the S10 Lite is the one for you. Have a look at this for some time, think about your requirements and think about the price as well. I mean, it's not a big difference. The 70 is 38K and the S10 Lite is 40K. Although there are some nice launch offers going on for the S10 Lite, including a one-time screen replacement offer for just 2000 rupees. Also, don't forget to check out the Note 10 Lite as well. That's also priced similarly. So, if you were to buy one of these, which one would you pick? Now, no matter what you say, Samsung has done a terrific job this time. To match a value flagship's price while still offering great features is something I never thought Samsung would do, to be honest. But here we are. Now, be honest, how helpful was this video? Either comment or hit the like or dislike button based on what you think. I really appreciate your feedback, be it negative or positive. Consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon. That's it. Thanks for watching. This is Ashwin Sundar, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.